All right, welcome back to the Abuja studios. Still Ray Power 100.5 FM, the ultimate morning show, 35 minutes past 7. My name is Chooks. Good morning. Wet Friday morning, very cold. My intern here has 3 jackets on as it is. She's already shivering. All right. It's time for us to take a look at what the dailies. You're shy. All right, we take a look at what the dailies are saying at this time of the day. Today is Friday. A lot of papers as well to look at. You want to see what the studio looks like this morning? Ray Power Abuja is currently live on YouTube for the newspaper review and also the live for political platform at 9 a.m. We're starting off with the front page of the Daily Sun. Security tightened around Aso Rock as Sowore leads Abuja protest, demands the release of kidnapped school children. FG not learning from past attacks. That's coming from Atiku, and that is on page 6. Stop attacking Adeboye over insecurity economy. Obi Ezekwesili charge Nigerians. That's on page 6. AI reshaping security agencies' operations globally. That's coming from the IG on page 4. Minority leader reps in rowdy session as members clash over forgery allegation. Page 8. International students groan as CBN restricts tuition payments to $25,000 per semester. Page 25. Fear grips schools over worsening insecurity. Starts on the front page, continues on page 6 of the Daily Sun. NAPS, NUT, others urge government to act fast to arrest situation. Dangote refinery wraps up to 700,000 barrels per day, strengthening Africa's energy landscape. Page 25. And that's it for the Daily Sun. There's also pictures of the protest that happened here in the FCT led by Omoleye Sowore. To the Daily Global. 2027, Tinubu's reforms versus opposition gang up. That's an interesting headline there. Tinubu torchbearers launch highlights APC grassroots drive as First Lady empowers women. And if you saw clips of that one, she gave out cars to the women leaders. There went down well with some people, didn't go down well with some. Pope Leo XIV hailed over apology on slave trade era. NDC shifts activities over Eid holidays, confirms nationwide primaries for May 29. I think that's coming off. INEC saying that any primary that went on after May 30 at the moment is currently cancelled, due to a federal high court ruling. We also have CP Giwa vows sustained crackdown on criminality as Enugu police arrest 3 suspects, recover firearms, ammunition, and illicit drugs in separate operations. Governor Aliyah launched this year's fertilizers distribution to farmers. NDC endorses primaries, launches reconciliation efforts ahead of 2027 polls. And 110 Nigerians face deportation as US launches fresh West Africa immigration crackdown. Starts on the front page of the Daily Global. Now to the Authority newspaper. How are reforms are shaping procurement in Nigeria? BPP boss there speaking. That starts on the front page and continues on page 2. Anambra native doctor Moore Millie remanded at correctional center. Page 7. And it looks like the crackdown on native doctors in Anambra State is still ongoing there. FG, NESG deepen collaboration on water sanitation management to boost food security. Page 6. Reps move to end rejection of NYSC members by government offices on page 4. FCT police debunk kidnapping rumor in Abuja school. Page 9. Above the nameplate of the Authority, NSITF to prioritize data science platform workers, GIG economy. Page 2. Gunmen storm Abuja community, kill 1, kidnap 5 persons. Page 9. Nigeria, FAO launched new initiative to combat avian influenza in Nigeria. That's on page 6. NDC better than other parties, says Dixon, page 11. To the Leadership newspaper. Despite death sentence for killers, our massacre survivors still in agony. Government should fine, punish massacre sponsors, says woman who lost legs. Page 4. ADC sues NJC, Tosha, others over alleged court disobedience. Page 6. Man, 18,900 manufacturing jobs lost in 3 years of Tinubu reforms. Page 21. UN joint calls for release of pupils, teachers abducted in Borno, Oyo. Page 4. Adding to the list, Zamfara as well. Musk's SpaceX set to launch largest IPO in history. Page 7. Dangote refinery ramps up to 700,000 barrels per day, strengthening Africa's energy landscape. Starts on the front page and continues on page 4. And a bit of sports on the front page of the Leadership. Ejiofor urges NFF to retain Chell as Super Eagles head coach. Page 37 of the Leadership newspaper. Al Jazeera Nigeria, minority leader seat, reps in rowdy session as race for Chinda's replacement hots up. Agbese alleges signature forgery in Ugo Chinyere's nomination. Page 9. Atiku Youth Wing DG defects to APC. That is a story on page 20, set to become frontline figure in City Boy movement. We have bad roads. Kogi motorists seek urgent government intervention. Page 17. Lagos warns consumers against lead contaminated products. Page 7. Ebonyi UTME candidate with highest score gets scholarship from Umahi. Page 9. NHRC pushes for rescue of kidnapped school children. Page 17. Research, innovation key to tackling insecurity, unemployment, says Echono on page 6. That's it for Al Jazeera Nigeria. So the Whistler. Tomato rich, revenue poor. Why Nigeria can't tap into $12 billion global market. Pests cost growers billions in production losses. Weak infrastructure. Port storage undermine export potential. Nigeria spends over $400 million annually importing tomato paste, and that's all captured on page 7. And there are images on the front page of the Whistler showing all of the figures there as well. UK tightens visa rules, threatens universities with foreign student ban. Page 15. Nigeria faces 27.5% US tariff under proposed trade measures. Page 10. 4 corps members, soldier killed in Adamawa road crash. Page 6. Oti urges states to boost revenue beyond federal allocation. Page 13. Absolutely true. 2026 World Cup, fans, stakeholders divided over new FIFA rules. Page 20. BPP to blacklist contractors over procurement violations. Page 12. And Tinubu NAS leadership strategize on state police amid rising insecurity. Atiku, PRP fought Tinubu's security strategy demand review. Pages 6 and 8 covers that thoroughly on the Whistler. So the Standard Times, state police constitutional framework near completion. That's from the presidency, starting on the front page, continuing on page 2. Panic in Abuja suburb schools as parents withdraw children over abduction scare. Starts on the front page, continues on page 2. 38-year-old man beats 65-year-old father to death in Ondo. Page 4. Very gruesome one. Nigeria police secures permanent forfeiture of assets valued over 2 billion naira in Lagos, Osun Delta. Page 2 as well. NBS applauds NUPRC's data transparency, pushes for stronger partnership on all gas statistics. Page 13 has that story. Insecurity, Nigerians paid over 30 billion naira ransom to terrorists in 2025. Page 2. Another very gruesome one. Tricyclist beats lover to death, abandons body with 2 children in Rivers. Page 3. Sad one indeed. Police arrest content creator for alleged fake banditry video, page 4. NCR, Nigeria grows revenue by 34%, page 13. Nigeria's external reserves climb to $49.58 billion, gain $1.22 billion in May, starts on the front page, continues on page 13. We have NEC approves compensation for Band A customers affected by power shortfalls, page 2. DBN disburses over 1 trillion naira to MSMEs since inception. That's coming from the MD on page 13. And that's the front page of the Standard Times. We're moving now to the Daily Independent. Flight operations at risk as Nigeria's Jet A1 crisis deepens. Experts push for direct crude allocation to local refiners. Starts on the front page and continues on page 29. Nigeria's anti-terror strategies failing to evolve. Article 1, page 6. Global financial fragmentation threatens Nigeria. Others, that's coming from the WEF, starts on the front page, continues on page 2 of the paper. That's 29, talking about the Daily Independent. And we also have Osun Police investigate shooting of Accord Party LGA chairman, page 7. Tinubu deploys special rescue teams for abducted Oyo school children, teachers, page 7. Establishment of state police nears reality, presidency reveals, starts on the front page, continues on page 7. And stakeholders pin Nigeria's surging food costs on structural flaws. That's on the front page and continues on page 7 as well. We're on to the Observer Times now. Ekiti LG Vice Chairman remanded over alleged staged kidnapping. Investigation reveals the abduction was faked to raise funds for outstanding debts. Page 1 of the Observer Times. Kogi rescue. Army saves 2 abductees. Vows to track down terrorists. Page 4. Alleged cyberbullying. Court denies social arrays adjournment requests. That is on page 5. Labour Party calls NEC meeting to ratify 2027 election. That is on page 7 of the Observer Times. Invites Igboho for questioning over Oyo school abduction. Articles 8 tells DSS. That's on the front page, continues on page 2. 300,000 voters to participate in Nasarawa North Senatorial by-election. That's coming from INEC on page 3. And now to the Nigerian pilot. Terror in Abuja. Gunmen kill vigilante, snatch 5 residents, including 11-year-old boy. Attackers invade Biazin community in deadly midnight raid. Residents flee homes as kidnappers unleash gunfire. And fresh school abduction rumors spark panic across Yanya axis. Grid constraints. NEC approves special compensation for Band A customers. Page 9. If you're in a Band A and you want to find out whatever that compensation is, the Nigerian pilot has that story for you. Abductions. NLC threatens to join nationwide protests. Page 5. 6 killed in Adamawa auto accident. Page 7. Akwa Ibom, police fall child abduction, rescue 3, page 7. Kudos to the Nigerian police for that one. FG vows swift action to free abducted students in Oyo, Borno, defeat terrorism, page 8. And lastly, to the Nigerian News Direct, terrorists targeting schools to spread fear, disrupt education. That's coming from the federal government. And that story is on page 5. World Environment Day 2026. That is a story on page 4. That's the headline there. Osun Accord chairman shot, hospitalized as police launch investigation. Page 5. NUPRC to commence 2026 licensing round in quarter 3. Page 2. Adeleke did not reject Tinubu's invitation. Spokesperson clarifies, says Oyetola blocked defection. Page 15. And that's the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. We'll go on a very short break and return with the business stories. Do stay with us.
This is the newspaper review.
welcome back. You're still locked into Ray Power 100.5 FM, the ultimate morning show, and taking a look at the business NG. We have debt relief in sight as Nigeria targets cheaper Eurobond market funding. Starts on the front page, continues on page 2. FAC revenue reports delay sparks concerns over transparency in Federation accounts. Starts on the front page, continues on page 1. NEC moves to compensate Band-Aid customers over poor electricity supply. Well, let's see if we can take a read from that. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has directed that customers under the Band-A electricity tariff category should be compensated whenever distribution companies fail to deliver the required level of power supply. The directive is aimed at strengthening accountability within the power sector and ensuring that electricity distribution companies meet their service obligations to consumers who pay higher tariffs in exchange for improved supply reliability. All right. Well, there are still concerns on that one. I don't know what the benefits would be like. More, maybe you pay less the next meter loading and the next units. Only God knows. You can pick up the business NG because I only have the front page, and you can get an insight into all of that. All right, so those are the business stories this morning. And the dailies, we took a look at the Daily Sun, Daily Global, the Authority newspaper, Leadership newspaper, Al Jazeera Nigeria, the Whistler, Standard Times, Daily Independent, Observer Times, Nigerian News Direct, and the Nigerian Pilot. All right. Starting with the one about the FCT here, Abuja, the insecurity issue. Very tough one, to take. Here in the FCT as well, we've heard of people, getting carried, kidnapped as well from their, homes. It's on the front page as well this morning. Gunmen kill vigilante, snatch 5 residents, including 11-year-old boy. This is from the Nigerian Pilot. So it's a very sad one indeed, and we implore security operatives to do their very best to help us free these individuals and that child as well, from the hands of these kidnappers. Very sad situation when it comes to security. And, there's the people who still feel, it's still in certain parts, it's not in this part. Here in the FCT as well, we're having such an issue come up when it comes to kidnapping. And one of the papers, though, did the police saying that the abduction story flying around in the FCT is just a rumor. As well, didn't happen. Nigerian Pilots did pick that story as well. Fresh school abduction rumor sparked panic across Yanya axis. So the IG, Nigerian police as well this morning saying that no, nothing of the sort though. But we implored them to look at that issue that happened as well in the midnight, that deadly midnight raid that happened where those individuals were kidnapped. Investigate that one as well, and try and rescue these people. We've had so much kidnapping stories happen just this week. We still have protests going on with the NLC threatening, to join the protest as well. That has been happening in different parts of the country. The FCT, they're not exempt. Lagos, Port Harcourt, Oyo, I think, Osun. So different parts of the country, we've had this, protest go on, and NLC is also threatening that one. We'll see if they'll join in, maybe. Next week we'll tell, but the government's still assuring us that they're doing their very best, coming up with different strategies to tackle that issue as well. And then former Vice President Atiku Abubakar coming out to say that the Tinubu's led administration is not doing enough. They are not evolving with the strategies they are taking to rescue kidnapped victims and to also fight insecurity in the country. Yeah, we've always talked about what's been done, what kind of strategies are being put in place. Can we also scrap that non-kinetic approach to it? Because if you see the figures of how much Nigerians have paid as ransom, is really alarming. It's on the high side, and to still think that we're thinking about, this non-kinetic strategy to tackle insecurity. Look, it won't work. 30 billion they are able to control, deploy, police officers, because most of these security operatives are not, allowed to carry very sophisticated weapons. So there's only so much that they can do when it comes to tackling insecurity in their state. So we need more, power giving to the governors as well, so that they can quickly respond to issues whenever issues arise or in their state. Instead of waiting for the federal government, the central, to be able to deploy men, they can do that and tackle this issue as well. Well, another one of concern is the one of Nigeria getting higher tariffs due to them not meeting up with the US needs to cut down on forced labor, goods that are being produced, services that are being produced due to forced labor. The US is putting more tariffs on over 60 economies. So Nigeria is one of them. How Nigeria is going to, fight this, push back, or are they going to sit down with the US government to find out how they can solve this issue of forced labor and all? It happens in different parts of the country, and it looks like the US is trying to crack down on all of that. And what would that mean? It means that Nigeria will currently now have, if that goes on, 12.5%. So Nigeria will have 27% thereabouts in terms of tariffs on goods we import to the US. So it's going to cost those goods to cost more. Will the US market be able to afford them if that happens? That's a big tell, and probably will affect our exports as well to the US, and also affect the funds that we generate. So that's another one that needs to be looked at by the federal government as well. Well, this morning we have so many papers this morning. You can pick up a copy of any of them. You have an insight into all of the trending stories, as most of these stories, make reoccur on the front pages. All right, quickly, just to sports. Liverpool have a new coach as well, and Downey Iraola leaving Bournemouth to Liverpool. Somebody said Arne Slot lost his job to AI. The initials of Iraola is AI, so very slight joke there. All right, tennis right now. Well, still in sports, though. Real Madrid have been talking tough. They are saying they're going to be signing a new player, 150 million euros, and it's not a player from the Premier League. So I wonder which player that is. Florentino Perez is talking about. Now, in tennis, the French Open is still on, and we have matches later on today from 1:30 p.m. Jakub Mensik will be going up against Alexander Zverev. That's a very interesting one. Jakub Mensik has been the shining light of the tournament so far. Matteo Arnaldi against Flavio Cobolli as well. We have the women's doubles, Katerina Siniakova and Taylor Townsend against Gabriela Drabowski and Luisa Stefani, and Anna Danilana, Alexandra Kruchnik against Shuko Ayama and Zhao Liang. So very interesting in the French Open. We also have matches in the French Open on Saturday coming through as well in the women's single. Maya Charliska and Mira Andreeva. We know that Sharapova is out of the French Open as it is. She was a favorite to win it, and she's already talking about retiring. Well, I don't think one defeat should make her think about retiring, but it is what it is. That's it for the papers and sports update this morning. Still the ultimate morning show, Ray Power 100.5 FM. So much for you on this dial. Fact File will be coming through at 8:30, political platform at 9, live on Ray Power Abuja YouTube's page. My name is Chuks. Keep listening to the dial. Don't go anywhere. Good morning.